Welcome to Burnout 3 Takedown. Quick disclaimer, this isn't a comprehensive game review, this is just a glaze piece on one of my favorite games. If this is also one of your favorite games, please drop a like below. Enjoy. Burnout 3 is one of those games that captivated me as a kid. I would spend hours playing this on PS2 alone and with my friends. And in this video, I'm going to go over just what makes Burnout 3 so special to me. Alright, so first up is obviously the gameplay itself. Unlike games of today, they go for a sim racer feel or an arcade sim mix, Burnout 3 is fully arcade. Nothing about the handling or physics are realistic, but that's what makes it so fun. The game is all about creating ridiculous moments and spectacular crashes. There are a few race types in this game. We have your standard race, which is what you would expect. Simply, whoever comes in first wins. Then we have the Grand Prix series, which is basically what you would expect. There's 3 races, and depending on where you finish, you get a certain amount of points, and at the end of the 3 races, whoever has the most points wins. We have eliminator events where the cars in last each lap are eliminated until one car remains. We have head-to-head face-offs, which are 1v1 boss battles essentially. Basically, it's just a 1v1 against a high-powered car, and if you win, you get to unlock the car. We have time trial type events called special events or preview laps, which task you with completing a race in a set time limit. And finally, we have my personal favorite event, Road Rage, where you're tasked with taking down a set number of opponents before the time is up. One of the core gameplay mechanics is the boost system. Most racing games have you regenerate boost slowly while you're not using it, but what's unique about Burnout is that boost is earned by driving like an absolute psycho. Things like driving in incoming traffic, drifting, catching air, near misses with traffic cars, and taking down opponents all gain you boost. Taking down an opponent is the most rewarding because it makes your boost go instantly to full, and it adds a whole new section to your boost meter. Inversely, if you get taken out, you lose some boost and you also lose a section of your boost meter. And don't ever think you're safe because the AI in this game are ruthless. Racers will actively try to wreck you with no regard for their own safety. This creates a really addicting gameplay loop where the more aggressively you drive, the faster you go, but also the more risk you put yourself at. Another topic here I really wanted to touch on is the sense of speed and also like the track list in this game, because you know these old games always had fire soundtracks. This game just feels fast in a way that modern games just don't. The sense of speed is utterly insane. This is created by a good mix of motion blur, camera shake, and screen effects while boosting, but does not feel like overkill. When used correctly, motion blur and a little camera shake can create a very chaotic vibe while still allowing you to see clearly, where you're not gonna feel like you're gonna have a stroke or anything like that. And the tracks in this game aid in the sense of speed. Tracks are really designed for chaos with some pretty heavy traffic density for an older game. There's like intersections that you have to cross mid-race where cars are just, crossing in front of you. And overall, the tracks are just quite narrow, adding to why you feel so locked in and why you feel like you're absolutely cooking in every race. Adding all of this together, avoiding traffic, avoiding getting taken down, trying to build boost, trying to find shortcuts that pop up abruptly, now we've really got something on our hands here. One final thing that helps build this fast-paced feel is definitely the soundtrack. I'd love to play the actual soundtrack here, but for obvious reasons I can't. But trust me, it was perfect for this game. I know I mentioned this in my previous video on Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005, and if you're interested in that video, definitely check that out after this one. But songs from bands like Rise Against, My Chemical Romance, and Yellow Card, to the iconic intro song Lazy Generation, just hits you so hard right in the nostalgia. That early 2000s punk rock energy made every race feel like it was just going 200 miles an hour. My favorite game mode has to be Road Rage. Road Rage is so damn fun, dude. If you've played this game growing up, I'm sure you agree that this gets the adrenaline pumping. The takedown system is so satisfying, and the takedown replays are so epic. Not to mention the aftertouch takedown system where when you crash or when you're taken down, you can control your car in midair in slow motion to position your car to take down an opponent with you. And if you get an aftertouch takedown, you actually earn boost. So even if you're taken down, you can redeem yourself with an after-touch takedown. Nothing beats the feeling of absolutely murking someone who's trying to pass you. There are also specific points in maps where if you take down an opponent into, let's say, like a specific barrier or, into a city bus or a semi-truck, there are things called signature takedowns. Now, signature takedowns are special takedowns where there's a certain amount of these signature takedowns in the game, and you kind of collect them all as you get them. Whenever you get a signature takedown, it actually takes a Polaroid of your takedown and adds it to your signature takedown list. So as I was saying earlier, to perform a signature takedown, you must take down your rival into a specific object or within a specific area. So these are things that you can grind towards, if you complete the game. If you want to try to 100% it, there's like these types of collectibles that you can, try to get. There are also these like takedown trophies. I forget what they're called. I think they're called trophies, but there's one for like basic, advanced, extreme takedowns. And it will be things like get a double takedown, get 2 after-touch takedowns in one race, get 10 takedowns in one race. And if you complete like one of those sections, like let's say the beginner section, for example, you get like the beginner takedown trophy. And it's just another thing to search for that, expands or extends the lifespan of the game. As far as like the overall atmosphere of the game, we have this dude named DJ Striker who provides these things called takedown transmissions. They're basically like hints that he gives you when you're like selecting things throughout the open world.
Want to know the best way to mod a car? Pile another one into it. That was a public service announcement brought to you by your friends at Crash FM.
Like, let's say you're racing on a track and DJ Striker mentions something about like a signature takedown spot. He just gives you like a small little hint, and from that you can kind of like decipher, oh, if I take down this guy into this barrier here, I'll probably get a signature takedown.
All right, here you go. I'm hooking you up with the takedown transmission. I spotted a group of anoraks collecting tram numbers down at Waterfront. I couldn't help thinking it would be easier if the trams weren't moving.
One of the modes that really stuck with me as a kid was the crash mode. So crash mode is a lot of fun, although the ones in the story can get a tad repetitive. And the one downside I will say is there is a pretty long loading screen for like not much gameplay time when you're doing these crash modes, but I still think they're pretty fun. When I was a kid, the way I liked to experience crash mode was inviting one of my friends over to my house, and we would just take turns on crash mode to see who could get the higher score. There's actually a local multiplayer mode for this, which I spent a ton of time with my best friend in. So Kang, if you're watching this, shout out to you. You're a living legend, and those Burnout 3 memories will never die. So what crash mode is it's basically a puzzle-like mode, if you could say that, where the goal is to drive into a busy intersection or go off a jump into an intersection and cause a massive car pileup. So your points are basically determined on the damage cost that you cause to the traffic. It sounds pretty psychotic when you say it out loud, but in-game it's pretty sweet. There's a crash breaker system too, so like when you crash your car and you cause enough damage, there's a crash breaker thing that pops up, and basically you can blow up your car a second time. So let's say you're in like one lane, you blow up your car, and you can use the aftertouch like slow-mo system to kind of transition your car to the other lane to try to cause a pileup on both lanes and accumulate even more points. And then there are also pickups scattered around that do things like boost your car. There's a lightning bolt that makes you go super fast. There are like money sign ones. There's a bronze one, a silver one, and a gold one. And, bronze gives you lower amount, silver gives you okay amount, and gold gives you a lot of money. And this just adds to your total score. And then there's a pickup that's pretty OP. That's a 2 times points. So if you hit one of those, whatever your score is just gets doubled, and you pretty much always get a gold medal if you get the 2 times, unless you really mess up somehow. I definitely have to mention the World Tour. The World Tour is basically like the campaign mode in this game. This is how you progress the game and unlock cars. It's a non-linear campaign mode, and you start off in the USA, and basically as you complete more and more races and crash modes, you unlock events in different areas. There is the USA, there is Europe, and then there is the Far East, which is basically Asia. Things do get progressively more difficult as you progress, such as like just more difficult cars to take down because they have more speed or they're heavier or things like that. But I wouldn't say this game is necessarily hard. There definitely are some levels that are harder than others. Like there's this one in particular that I can remember where you're like this F1 car and you have to complete a race in a certain amount of time, and the handling on the F1 car is just horrible. And like if you crash once, you're kind of cooked. So yeah, that one's definitely infuriating to me. And I was playing it actually like while making this review, and it was really pissing me off, I'm not gonna lie. The whole overall vibe of the world tour is pretty fun. So there's this radio station in the game called Crash FM, hosted by a dude named DJ Striker, who does these broadcasts of the events and what's going down in the world tour, which adds a pretty cool atmosphere to the game.
Damn! Check out the crazy Euro dudes ripping it up on the street around the waterfront. Better yet, get down there yourself and show them how it feels to be taken out. This is Striker on Crash FM, where everything burnout.
And I actually just found out while writing the script for this video that he's actually voiced by a real life DJ from Los Angeles who goes by the stage name Ted Ramon Striker, which is a cool bit of lore to learn after the fact because he definitely has left an impression on my childhood brain, you know what I mean? And yeah, DJ Striker just brings a ton of personality to the game. Like it's just something very small, but it just adds a whole new element to the game that the game would just not feel the same without him. So I really appreciate his part in this game. As far as the time you'll get out of a playthrough is you could probably complete the entire world tour in around 10 hours. Now that's not getting a gold medal in every event, that's just like unlocking every event, you know? The website How Long to Beat has the game's 100% completion time at around 33 hours. So there is a good decent amount of content here. But this is what I really like about these old style arcade racing games is you can just pick them up and play them for a few hours without having to dedicate your life to them to experience what they have to offer. I also want to mention quickly the car selection. So the car selection in this game is not anything groundbreaking. All the cars are fictional, meaning nothing is actually licensed, so you won't find any real car brands in this game. The way that they do it is there are 7 classifications of cars and around 10 cars per classification. By classification, I mean things like compact, muscle, coupe, sport, super, special, heavyweight, and the heavyweights are only available in the crash mode, which includes things like a city bus, a fire truck, a long-nose cab. You get the idea. Each of these cars has a speed rating and a weight rating, both of which are pretty self-explanatory. You know, higher the speed rating, the faster you are, the higher the weight, the more hefty you are. So from this, you can kind of choose like, are you trying to get a really fast lap time? Then go with a fast light car. Are you trying to do a road rage event where you have to smash other cars into the guardrail to take them out? It'd be nice to have a mix of speed and weight. Now, this is not the most deep mechanic in the world for a racing game, but for Burnout, it just kind of works. Like, it definitely serves its purpose, and you don't really need anything more than this. The only customization you get on these cars is changing the color, and you get an option of like 4 options, so nothing crazy there either. The cars serve their purpose and they're satisfying enough to unlock. The only ones that really left an impression on my mind though, like from my childhood days, were the Dominator variants of each cars, which were basically souped up versions that were black with orange flames. As a kid, I thought those were cool as hell, I cannot lie. Burnout 3 knows exactly what it is, and it's not trying to be realistic, it's not trying to be a simulator, it's just trying to be fun, and it absolutely nails it. This is one of those games where you don't remember the progression, you remember the moments, the crashes, the takedowns, the times you and your friends were yelling at the screen. And even now, it still delivers the same feeling. If you grew up with this game, you already know. And if you didn't, it might still be worth going back to. Overall, Burnout 3 is one of my favorite racing games of all time. Thanks for watching.